What is up, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. It's time for episode 22 of Tigers Franchise, and we are approaching June, so I didn't lie for the third episode in a row. I didn't come up and here we are on like August 28th or something. We are the series before we turn the calendar over to June. I stopped here on purpose. I said I'd be in June or July, and I wanted to stop right here at this series. We'll do these 3 games against St. Louis. We'll flip the calendar over to June, and then we'll get the development report and we'll review our first 2 months here. So those of you who don't second screen, you might be looking around seeing the record. It's pretty good right now. Let's get in to these 3 games against St. Louis. We've had an amazing May after a tough start in April. We'll get into that in a moment. Let's get to these 3 games real quick because I do want to get that development report up as well. I guess I could have done these first 2 games so that it was just the 31st, but that's all right. You guys aren't going to crush me over that. 3-2 loss in 10 for game 1. By the way, that's 1, 2, 3, 4. I guess it's only 4 recent games going into extras. I thought it was more than that. We win game 2 and we're trying to get the series here, unless it's a 4-gamer that carries over to June 1st. I don't know. But either way, let's win the final game of the month, hopefully, get a new player development report, and really dive into what's been going on. Because like I said, after a slow start, the team exploded in May. So we end up losing 5-2. That is the final game of that series. So we dropped that series there. Unfortunately, that is, I think, literally our only series loss. Of course, when I hit record, we get our first series loss of the month. I'm not going to complain though. We went 19-8 after a 12-13 April. Taking a look at the rankings, the pitching's on fire. First, as far as the eye can see. Bunch of other single-digit stuff where we're not first. The hitting isn't too bad, except while I do see a lot of single-digit rankings, I don't like the 8th ranking in OBP. That's one of our worst. 10th in walks, that's contributing to it, of course. 12th in strikeouts, so I definitely don't like that combo. That we're striking out a decent bit and we're not walking. Actually, wait, I always forget. Does 12th in strikeouts mean like the, what is that, 4th most? Hang on. Let's get to the bottom of that real quick. Team strikeouts, American League. Wait, what? Not all leagues. Oh, I guess it'll just do America. Oh, wait. It's right here. All right, so yeah. Okay, 12th is bad. It means 4th highest, which is what I thought. So we're walking too much and we're not walking enough and we're striking out too much. That's a tough combo. That said, let's not overanalyze too much because it's not hindering us all that much. I think I said the word much like 52 times there. Let's dive into what's been going on. Like I said, the slow start all the way back in April. I think I showed the Angels series. In the last episode, we went 2-2 against them. Took a series in Texas, faced the Angels again, grabbed that series at home. Dropped a series against the Yankees. Went to Atlanta, dropped a series, came to the White Sox, or visited the White Sox, took a series from them. Took 2 of 3 from Miami at home, and then swept by San Diego to end the month. So you can see the up and down there. A couple series losses, couple series wins. No sweeps for us, 1 sweep loss. And then you already saw the May, a lot of green here. We lose 1 game against Tampa Bay, 1 against the Yankees, sweep KC, 2 out of 3 against the White Sox, 3 straight against Oakland, 2 out of 3 in Cleveland and at the Mets. Then we come home to face Cleveland, take 2 more out of 3 against them, and then the 2 out of 3 loss to St. Louis at home. So fantastic month there. Let's see how the players are doing. First things first, injuries, same as, actually they've improved because Dylan Dingler's back. He just came back for that St. Louis series that y'all saw. And of course, Alex Lang is out for the year. So we haven't added any injuries, which is definitely a positive. Dingler, as I mentioned, has literally 9 games. Never mind, so I lied. I can't go an episode without lying. Of course, a lie would be if I was doing it on purpose, but I misspoke, I should say. I thought that he had just returned, but he's been there for 9 games. So he returned, go back to May real quick. He returned at the Mets series. So I knew it was on a Friday. I had the wrong Friday. Don't kill me on that. All right, so what do we want to do first? Player development report or the team report? Let's do the player development report first. I'm deciding on the fly here. So we're just looking for kind of like big moves or big drops. Like I'm not going to get worried about a little movement drop from Scooble. I don't love it, but whatever. Let's see the guys with like multiple moves here. Joel Baez, movement and control are up. This guy's been continuing to grow, and I think he's something. I really do here. He's had a few big growth periods. I think I highlighted him in a different episode, and I'm wondering if we might need to kind of put him in a more prominent role. Now, he is just a reliever, and we don't really need a reliever, so I know he's angry because he's not in the majors. I don't have a spot for him right now. He'll be the first man up, I think, because he looks really strong, although we probably have others who are on the 40, so I can't even promise that. But Joel Baez is moving up. We do like to see that. Javier Osorio, another couple jumps here. Potential contact goes up. Current and potential eye both go up. And I mentioned him last episode because he was offered, or he was who they wanted for Sandy Alcantara, and that was an offer that the computer brought to me. So they kind of put Osorio on my radar a little bit. And then I looked in, I saw, okay, he had the big September 2025 jump, March 2026, and now May 2026. So he might be turning into a little something. He's not happy with his role on the team at AA. But I mean, you got a 71 WRC plus. I don't really know what to tell you. Maybe don't strike out a third of the time, and then we'll start to maybe advance you to AAA or give you a more prominent role in AA. So I'm not going to listen to his griping just yet. We'll see what happens with that. Casey Cunningham's contact, current and potential both go up. Jack Clark with a little bit of love. This Casey Cunningham, our first round pick from 2025, he's now in high A. He's not performing well, but at least there has been advancement in his skills. This was after a dip in March, so that's good. I guess he got a little bit of that back. Okay. John Glasscock gets a big jump, including a velo boost. Let's see if there's anything here. Okay, this, even with that big boost for the 9th rounder from 2023, it doesn't really fundamentally change his outlook. It might just give him a little more heat to maybe get to, I don't know, high A. So, okay. Nothing to go crazy about there. And then, oh, no. Sean Gamble. That name, that last name, it's really going to live up to how this is going, right? Sean Gamble. Potential contact goes from 70 to 55. Y'all, the computer whambezied us. We got frickin' bamboozled. Son of a bitch. How's Conrad Kaysen doing? 29th ranked prospect. His potential eye went up in May. That's it, but that was that big trade, and I thought, okay, it's kind of a prospect challenge trade. Even though our guy was ranked lower, I liked his outlook. Dropping 15 potential off of his contact in one fell swoop is a real kick in the midsection. My goodness, that's frustrating. It's early though. He's 19. He's gonna be 20 in a couple months, but I still like the profile and everything, the personality. I don't want to lose my head too much on that, but that's tough to see. We don't love that. And then Luke Billings, a guy I took a gamble on in the draft because I had him have a wonderful run out in Cincinnati, in my Cincinnati sim on Twitch. We're not getting that here, at least not without a major turnover. He's evaporating, and now looks like he's not going to become much of anything here. He is only 19, and obviously we'll give him some time to see if things change, but not a great report here with minuses in the potential contact, eye, and power. And one of them, oh no, they were all 5s. Okay, I thought one of them was a 10. But anyway, not a great report there, so glad we waited to look at that together. A dumbass report. All right, let's check in on our players here on June 1st. As I mentioned, Dylan Dingler just got back from the IL 9 games ago, not 3, as I originally said. So he and Aliendo are going to be sharing the job. Aliendo in a starting role, I was going to say he was all right, but let's face facts. He really wasn't. He put up a 53 WRC plus and a negative 0.4 WAR. So his defense was not tipping the scales on his bad offense. And that makes sense to me, right? When you put up a 53 WRC plus, you can't really overcome that with just catching defense alone. Shortstop, center field, premium defense might be able to offset that. I feel like you're just really top of the scale, but just catching, I don't think you're going to get that done. So that's kind of a bummer. He is on high scouting. Let's go ahead and up that. And then Dingler, he's back. He has an 18 WRC plus. It's 35 plate appearances. Who cares? We'll check in on him next episode to get more details. Spencer Torkelson is building on his breakout season with a 176 WRC plus. So far, he already has 2 WAR. He's 1 win away from what he did all of last year. He's 10 homers away. He has 21 bombs. I'm seeing this for the first time with y'all. I had no idea he was this blazing hot. 1048 OPS. This makes me so dang happy. Love that we're getting a great torque run out. And, we kind of go as he goes, I guess, because he started off kind of modestly in April with a 759 OPS and 7 bombs, although 7 bombs in a month is definitely good. But the 759 OPS is kind of whatever. Then he puts up a 1288 in May with 14 homers. At a baby torque, love to see it. Jace Young over at second base. He lost some scouting recently too. It was in January. Little contact and power. Kind of a bummer. Has made him more of a pedestrian player. 98 WRC plus, 0.6 WAR. It's fine. It's not great, but it's fine. I do think maybe we should consider not leading him off. I mean, 341 OBP against righties. I can live with it. But if there's somebody out there, I guess the answer would be who? Who would we put there that's better? And looking at some potential candidates here, maybe Sergio Mendoza, who, wow, we'll get to him in a moment. He's been killing it. O'Neal Cruz over at third base has a 131 WRC plus, 1.7 WAR, 12 bombs for him. He's been fantastic. He is more than holding his own against lefties in a very tiny sample, and that's inflating his bottom line, but not to an overwhelming degree. Like, let's not give short shrift to what he's doing against righties with a 117 WRC plus and 10 of his homers. It's just that he has a 216 WRC plus in those 28 plate appearances against lefties. That will not hold. It doesn't need to. I love what he's doing against righties. We will take that. Then we have Willy Adames at short. He also has an outsized performance against lefties in 47 plate appearances with a 253 WRC plus. He is better against lefties. I'm still very comfortable saying that will not hold. It doesn't need to. He's almost at 2 wins already, though. He's been fantastic. Willy Adames killing it for us. And then Sergio Mendoza, I just mentioned him. I said, let's get to him in a moment. Oh my goodness. 172 WRC plus, 2 wins already, 10 bombs. He's got a 380 OBP against righties. And yeah, the 342 BABIP is certainly helping. Like, that's at a higher level, but that's not some wholly unsustainable BABIP. You can definitely get that, especially with his speed. Now, I wish he had more contact. I'd feel more comfortable in it holding if he had more contact, but I don't know. There's a world where maybe he jumps to the top of the order against righties. 380 OBP, I mean, maybe I would do it with a better than a 7% BB, walk rate, I should say, because if the BABIP does smooth down a little bit, he's not having as many hits fall, well, that's where the OBP is really coming from. So, maybe I'll stick with what's working. And right now, Jace Young at the top of the order, at least in May, was working. But Mendoza, he really jumpstarts the bottom of the order there. And Kevin Alcantara has been playing every other game with him. I think we're going to cut that down a bit. We'll go to every 4th game. I just needed to see where Mendoza was at. Let's ride the hot streak with him. We're still going to get Alcantara in because I'm not going to judge him too harshly off of 130 plate appearances. I think he's better than his 63 WRC plus. But I want to make sure that that Mendoza's getting the playing time he deserves with the performance that he's putting up. Parker Meadows out in center, holding his own. 97 WRC plus, 0.8 WAR, brilliant defense. I mean, at least brilliant defensive profile. Let's see what his stats look like. Yeah, killing it in center. That's what we need. That's what he's doing. All good. And then Riley Green, he's being Riley Green. I mean, this dude is a metronome right now. 138 WRC plus, 130, 135 in 24, 25, and so far in 26. If he puts up another 4-point-something season that rounds up to a 5-win campaign, you can't ask for anything more. That is just steady greatness. Maybe this is the year he breaks the 30 home run barrier, although he will need to get going because he only has 5 through 2 months, so maybe not. But you love what Riley Green's been up to. And then Shosei Watanabe, we were looking for a rebound from him. And if you had told me, if you just said, hey, you went 19-8 in May, I probably would have thought that Watanabe was a big part of that. Turns out, not so much. He was actually better in April than he was in May. 95 WRC plus in April, just an 85 in May. And you can't even blame the strikeouts because he only had a 23% K rate in May. It was a 234 BABIP that really hurt him. So he was kind of unlucky. We do still see 9 homers on the season, which paces to 28. I still feel pretty comfortable with where things are. 266 BABIP. I can't say that won't hold because he had a 261 last year. His skills are certainly good enough to be better than that. Let's say that. That's kind of a vague, not really saying a whole lot. I do grant that. But we know he can be more of like a 280, 290 BABIP guy. And that would probably be enough to get him to a positive WRC plus. And at this point, that's kind of what I'm hoping for. Because I was, like I said, really hoping for the big prominent rebound. Doesn't look like we're getting that. I do think that we're probably going to be on the hook for the 2017 and $17 million years coming after this, because he has a player opt out after this year. It's unlikely that he's going to opt out, and we're going to be owing this this 54 mil. And then the vesting option, if he has 550 plate appearances for the 2030 season, well, we'll be in more control of that. And if he's playing the way he has been since the start of 2025, there's no way he'll reach that number. So it's been a little bit of a bummer, but hey, not every one of these big international signings can work. Sometimes they end up being game changers that become stars of the league, and we definitely thought that's where Watanabe was headed after 2024. But so far, it's looking like maybe that was just a great first season, and then the league kind of figured him out, which is a real big bummer because I wanted him to become, a brilliant player with Torque and Green to kind of give us a huge trio in the middle of our lineup there. But at least Torque and Green are holding up their end of the bargain. Looking at some of our subs, I talked about Aliendo, not so great. Gabriel Arias, not so great either. 32 WRC plus in his 71 plate appearances. Hopefully he's still playing decent defense. And it looks like he is. So that's good because he's filling in a bunch of spots. And then Aurelvis Martinez has a 154 WRC plus. Now he might be making a bid for more PT. Remember, he had a nice little sample with us last year in 121 plate appearances. Popped 8 homers, was a nice little infusion of offense when we needed it. Now he's down to average scouting. I do wonder if we might get a healthy boost here when we get the new report. Could we get some 50s and 55s to surround the 60 home run power, and maybe Aurelvis becomes something a bit more than kind of an all or nothing power guy? I don't know. We'll see. Now, Cruz is more than holding his own. He's been great. So I don't think Aurelvis is going to take a ton of his time, but let's pop him in every third. Let's just get him in a bit more consistently at third base. Give him an opportunity to see how real his, how many plate appearances? His 166 Major League plate appearances. Let's see how real they are. He has 11 homers in that time. It's still a very small sample, but the power has been there. And then Alcantara, I talked about earlier, 63 WRC plus, not so great for him. And then Javier Baez. He has 9 plate appearances, and they've been bad because what the hell else were you expecting? So our bench has been uninspiring, but thankfully the starters have been carrying. On the pitching side, let's take a look at our starters first. Sort by innings here. Skubal, our ace. Let me put these non-starters into reliever. He's been our ace. 73 innings for him. 307 ERA, 120 whip. No complaints. A little bit of a bummer, like I said, that his movement dropped from 45 to 40. Obviously, that puts him at more risk for even more homers. He has brought the home run rate down to 0.9 this year after 1.4 last year. I do have some concerns that might tick back up toward the 1.4 mark, but everything else is good enough that, even if he is more of a high 3s ERA with a great whip, packing on innings, we're still going to get a lot of goodness out of Skubal. Jackson Jobe, 57 2/3. He's our second highest inning guy. 4.84 ERA, 1.32 WHIP. It hasn't been great. Now, what's the issue behind it? No single issue. First off, it's not like he's been horrendous. 4.84, 1.32, like that's okay. It's not a number 2, but it is a major league starter, and it's like you can live with that at the back end. The problem is we have him as more of a front end guy, so we're hoping for more. But the thing is, he shaved 4 points off of his strikeout rate. His home run rate went from 0.9 to 1.2. Like, neither of those are huge changes, but you pair that with some tough sequencing on those changes, meaning, some bad luck runs where the strikeouts are really down and he has a huge multi-hit game and a couple multi-homer games. Multi-hit game. Most games are multi-hit games where you give up more than one hit, but you know what I mean? Like a big hit game, a couple multi-homer games, and boom, all of a sudden his ERA is up over a run from 3.78 last year to 4.84 this year. We'll stick with him for now. He's still only just 23 years old. I'm not moving on Job. Maybe we start to, put like Aaron Ashby ahead of him, or maybe even a Ronnie Enriquez, so that when there's off days, actually I have it on strict order right now. Let me start it. Oof, that was from the spring and I forgot to change that. That's kind of a bummer. The reason that you would want to do always start highest rested is because on off days, they might skip your 5th starter and go back to your ace, which you would, you definitely want your higher ranked guys getting more starts when they can. In this case, Enriquez has been excellent this year, so if he has gotten some starts, now you can see the innings distribution. They are still going to Skubal the most, so it's been fine. But maybe there's an extra start or 2 in there that he could have had if I had it on always start highest rested, so my fault on that. Anyway, Aaron Ashby, he's doing his thing. 2.91 ERA, 1.25 WHIP. That is a little bit of an unequal combo, meaning 1.25 WHIPs don't usually generate sub 3 ERAs. That's just a few too many base runners. It does make life difficult. And a 13% walk rate is the primary issue behind that. But when you only allow 6.5 hits per 9, you can kind of live with a higher walk rate. Do we believe in the 258 BABIP though? He led the league in BABIP in 2024, did Ashby, but then he went up to 320 the following year. So we know the volatility with him. I will take something in this range. Like, he kind of lives in his range, even with that BABIP and walk rate volatility. He's been a good guy for us, though. We're happy with Aaron Ashby. Reese Olson, he's been limited to 21 batters faced. It's not working. 5.14 ERA, 1.48 WHIP. It's in line with the 35 2/3 that he had last year at the major league level. I'm wondering if maybe he's just not a starter. Plain and simple. 45 control and 45 stamina. Maybe runs up his pitch counts, and it's just not quite working. So I do think he's somebody that I might look to take out of the rotation. You talk about multi-homer games, 2 of his last 3, he's allowed 2 and 3 homers. So 5 total homers in a 3-start stretch. That'll really sting you. And then Enriquez, I hinted at him being very good. 2.38 ERA, 1.15 WHIP in 45 innings, 18% strikeout minus walk. You love to see that. Now he's outrunning a 3.23 BABIP. Really impressed by that. Enriquez, straight 55s down the line with his 40 stamina. I think we'll just leave him as the 5th starter. So sometimes he will get skipped. I'm actually okay with that. We have him on an 18 batters faced. We don't want to take these quality results and try to extrapolate and say, hey, let's get more out of him. Let's not be greedy. Let's stick with what we got from Enriquez and not push. Now let's get to the bullpen and see if we can find a potential replacement for Olson to make a little switch here. Again, we'll sort by innings. We'll start with Emiliano Teatro, a newcomer to the team, claimed him off of waivers from Boston. And it's been a little bit of a struggle. 13% walk rate has created some problems for him, along with a 1-2 homer 9. Now, the 13% walk, I get. The 1-2 homer 9, I'm a little less understanding of. You have a 65 movement. Stifle some homers, my man. I don't like this. So it's a 4.21 ERA and a 1.32 WHIP for one of our premier high leverage relievers. So it's been a little bit of a bummer here. He does have 12 shutdowns, but 7 meltdowns. So that's not going to work. We need him to tighten up and get better. I'm going to stick with him. Not going to make a move yet, but I want to see some improvements over the next month or so, or else we just move him out of the leverage. He's not going out of the bullpen or anything, but he might just be moved from the peak leverage. Jackson Kowar, second in innings at 31 2/3. He's got a 3.13 ERA, 120 WHIP. Not too bad. Things are looking all right for him. Now, he's not somebody that I would really trust the surface stats and say, oh, like he would not take Teodo's spot. Did I say Teodo or Teodo the first time? Teodo. Emiliano Teodo. I think that's correct. Hit me up if I'm wrong on that. But anyway, we'll take what we're getting from Kowar. It's been good. Do I believe in it as more, or, here he is breaking out? No, I appreciate him for what he's been doing. Elpidio Perez, our other stopper. Now, he's been living up to it. 31 1/3 innings with a 2.59 ERA, 0.89 WHIP. Everything's blazing hot for him. He has sliced his walk rate from 8% to 3%. That's brilliant. With an already excellent strikeout rate going from 31% to 35%. Are you kidding me? I can even overlook his 1-4 homer 9. Why do some of our guys with this big movement have such homer problems? Teodo I mentioned earlier, and now Perez, our two stoppers, have had some home run problems. One, it's hurting. The other, he says, I don't care. I'll give him a few solo shots every once in a while. Nobody's on base. It won't hurt us. And you know what? I trust Perez. He can give up a homer or two. Just hopefully not in the playoffs. We don't ever want that in the playoffs. Adrian Morejon, 28 1/3 innings. Now, Teodo is our righty stopper. So Morejon, as good as he's been, with a 2.83 ERA, 0.95 WHIP, I don't see him replacing Teodo in that other stoppers role because I don't want double lefties. But I do love what we've gotten out of his 28 innings. His walk rate, he's held the 5% that he had last year. Also a little bit of a home run issue, but that comes with the territory because he has a 45 movement. So I'm less surprised by Morejon's home run problem. I accept it. He could actually maybe jump into the rotation for Olsen. Although that might expose the movement a little bit more, so maybe not, but it's an option. It's an option. We'll get to a couple others here in a moment. Jairo Vasquez, 4.84 ERA, 1.88 WHIP. Not good. 13% walk rate, but more importantly, a 3.91 BABIP has led to an 11.3 hits 9. Now, initially, you might say, well, he's been unlucky. Stick with him, he'll be fine. And to a degree, I would see that point and agree with you to a degree. But don't forget, this is the sidearmer that we picked in the Rule 5 draft. Sorry if that's really noisy. I just turned on my heater. Turned down my gain a little bit in case that's coming through. I've recorded with my heater on before, but it might be different if it starts with it on, if the video starts with it, where that sound is already there versus adding it. So maybe I called out something that you guys couldn't even hear, and now I put focus on it, but I just wanted to acknowledge that I did change the environment here. But anyway, Jairo Vasquez is the sidearm Rule 5 guy that we got. And look at these nasty splits. So maybe lefties are eating him alive. We're going to look in a moment. And in that case, maybe the BABIP would make sense. Now, if he has a big BABIP split where righties aren't doing much and lefties are, okay, we'll give him a reprieve. But if everyone's getting BABIP off of him, then we're a little bit more nervous. So let's go to the splits here. Lefties, 379 BABIP, but 400 for righties. It's actually worse. Oh man, that's a real bummer. Okay, well, dude's just hittable. And sidearm, lefties obviously get a great look at it. That's why the splits are so severe. But righties, I'm surprised. This is like our very own Tyler Rogers, although not quite. Rogers is more submarine than sidearm, but the general point is there. And Rogers usually owns righties because he's so nasty coming from there. Or like Darren O'Day, he just own righties. And then struggle against lefties because he gives them that extra long look at it. But this here is not that. You look at the strikeout minus walk, and there's a big lefty-righty split. And again, don't put anything in these ERA numbers. You can't have an ERA versus lefties or versus righties. That doesn't make sense, right? Because I've explained it a million times before, but if a righty Like, it doesn't track. I understand how they're trying to do it. Like, they're counting the outs as innings, but you can't have 13 innings against righties only because you face left and right as a mix. So anyway, it doesn't work. So you got to look at the core skills. 13% strikeout minus walk against righties, 8% against lefties. So the split is being shown. The BABIP is very funny though. Funny bad, not funny haha. So Jairo Vasquez, he might get returned. We're going to give him a little bit more time. Right now, we're outrunning his problems. But if we don't see some things start to improve, I think he's got to go. Let's go specialist with him. I wonder. I mean, the game isn't great at deploying specialists, but let's go double specialist and see if that works for him. Abner Uribe, our little pet project. And I only point that out because we put him on the 40 when he didn't look very good. In fact, you see the red control, like that still sticks out like a sore thumb. But I said, let's take a shot on a guy, throw him on the 40, see if we can develop him a little bit, and maybe we get something. And it worked. It doesn't always work like this. In fact, it often doesn't, but it actually did, and it's so cool. I love it. He got 5 stuff on his current and potential, 5 movement, actually 10 movement, 5 control, added a Scroogey in March. So, I mean, that's what I was hoping for. Just get some extra stuff to try to, not literal. I mean, he did get some of the category stuff, but I meant get some extra ratings and maybe we have something. And right now we kind of do. It's 20 2/3 of a 2.18 ERA, 116 whip, 23% strikeout minus walk. He too has a BABIP issue. What the hell's wrong with our team? Does our defense suck? No, it doesn't. Second in efficiency, third in zone rating. So like, what is it, man? I mean, we're third in BABIP, so it's clearly not everybody, but it's a lot of guys, isn't it? I mean, then you look at Brant Herter. Let's finish off the relievers here before we do anything else. And he's got 14 2/3 with a 3.68 ERA, 102 whip. I love what he's doing. And, you know, I didn't save him for last because we were just going in innings order and he happened to be the lowest innings. But it kind of works as a save him for last because I wonder if he's the guy to take Olson's spot. They kind of have different profiles, like inverted profiles. Olson's 55, 60, 45. Herter is 50, 65, 65. And he'll probably drop a little bit more when we go to starting pitcher there. And he does drop to 45 stuff. But that's okay. I mean, it shouldn't be the end of the world. Get this note out of here. I didn't do a note. But yeah, I feel like this might be able to work. Extreme ground ball. I mean, again, I can't get to the bottom of some of these BABIP issues with a handful of guys. Let me look at all the pitchers. All pitchers. Sort by BABIP. Okay, you know what? I've overstated the problems. Literally only 3 guys are well over 300 BABIP. Why did I think it was this glaring issue for many guys? What is wrong with me, y'all? It's actually not that bad. Hey, we're probably like 3rd in the league or something. Anyway, just a few of these guys are having BABIP problems. But yeah, let's try Herter. Let's try Herter in the rotation. You know, a non-dominant arm, I think, can function a bit better as a starter. You know, give him more innings. He doesn't have to come in and try to strike out a bunch of guys. He can work across 5 innings, trust the defense a bit, keep the ball in the yard, keep the ball down with his extreme ground ball. Don't walk anybody. I think we could find some success here. So we'll see how this goes. I just said I wasn't going to try to like overexpose Enriquez, but I am going to move him. Well, now there'll be 2 lefties no matter what. I was going to say I'll move him to 4, so it's left, right, left, right, left. But then when you cycle back over, there's still 2 lefties in a row with Herter and Skubal. So one way or another, there's going to be 2 lefties. I know this way is a bit more aesthetically pleasing for those of you that like the symmetry of LR, LR, L. But we're just going to leave it. We're going to put Olson, or we're going to put Herter directly into Olson's spot. leave Enriquez as the 5, and go from there. So that's the one pitching move we're going to make. Let's check the waivers real quick. Ooh, there's some guys out there. None of whom really stand out. And if I'm being honest, at this juncture, we're probably beyond the waiver wire unless something really fun lands on there for some reason. And you never know. Every once in a while, somebody really good could still be there that even a team like ours, a few years into a sim, could use. Like Dylan Tate doesn't look too bad. He's actually kind of a more extreme Brant Herter, but for the bullpen. And I just don't want 45 stuff in the bullpen. But I've had Dylan Tate on teams before. Like he's had some good sims. So then for the lineup, I don't think we're going to really change anything. You know, don't fix what ain't broken. It's a cliche for a reason, because it's right. So I think that's what we're looking at. Let's go look at some standings here. And you will find that we're only 2.5 games up. Despite the colossal May, the Royals, not the Twins, the Royals are right there 2.5 games back at 29 and 24. They started strong in April. See, they went the other way. They went 16 and 10 in April, but then just 13 and 14 in May. They've got a really strong offense and a tough pitching staff. So they're imbalanced. Oh, remember this Gavin Cross guy we saw? I think he was in the top 10 hitters on the sim run out. They got Ezekiel Duran ripping 10 homers already in 51 games. Okay. 12 for Cross. What's the pitching look like? Oh, Davy Garcia is their ace. Okay, it's starting to make sense why pitching might be a little bit of a struggle. Okay. Do we have anybody in the leaders? Torque, second in homers behind Stanton. Second in ribbies behind Jonathan Ornelas. This guy, remember him when we were going through the sim at the end of last year, team by team, and we faced Cleveland? This guy is filthy. Jonathan Ornelas is on his way to becoming arguably the best player in baseball, at least by ratings. He's got a 120 potential. He's already a god at 95, and they like him to potentially get better. Let's get a full scout on him, even though he's not even on our team. I just want to see where that guy's at. He is bananas. And they're only 23 and 32. They suck with him. They're wasting Jonathan Ornelas. Shouldn't they have to trade him to us? Shouldn't that be a rule? By the way, speaking of guys that they could trade, I checked this out, I think last year during the deadline period. I was like, maybe they would want to move Ramirez. He's one of my absolute favorite players, even though he's on a rival team of my Tigers. I think he hates our guts. Things may have changed, but last time I think he was like, 10 and 5. He's like, I'm not going to Detroit. Get the hell out of here. Okay, rude. Fine, I'm not offended at all. It doesn't hurt my feelings at all, Jose. God. Oh, they have Goldie now. They traded for Goldie around Christmas time. Oh, interesting. For Jacob Zibin, prospect of moderate note, and Yorman Gomez, even more moderate. Now, Goldie is making money, so that's a money dump. No, I mean, oh God, the Rockies are so stupid. It's unbelievable. I mean, it was a money dump-ish, but the Rockies ate 70% to do that. That's ridiculous. You eat the money to get better prospects. I mean, I guess that means that it was the offer was even worse before that. I mean, I guess this Zibin, he's all right, but he screams reliever. I don't really see that he's going to get to being a starter. He needs the movement or the control to really tune up. I mean, even if he gets to full capacity of 55, 45, 35, I'm not starting that. In Colorado? Yeah, right. Anyway, we don't have time to break down how stupid they are. We'll be here all day. But Torque is our big leaderboard guy. He's also second in OPS, second in WRC+. On the pitching side, we don't have anybody in the top 3 of anything. Nard Dog, Andrew Nardi. Oh my God, he's even better than he was for us in Marlins franchise. Holy crap. Had a baby Nard Dog. This is a guy who my entire fandom of him has come from this game. My Marlins franchise here on YouTube, Nard Dog became my beast stopper. Again, I don't think he was ever this good. He was excellent for us, but not quite a 85 rated guy. But I love him. I followed him this year in real life. Love seeing him get to the majors for the Marlins. So I'm definitely rooting for him. All right. So from here, we are obviously a month from a lot of stuff happening in July. I think we can start to get through June a bit. Maybe we should take a look at the trade block real quick, though, to see if there's anything out there that might be appealing. I doubt it, but let's just look. All right, there's a Jazz Chisholm on the block for Philly, who, okay, is a free agent after this year. That makes him inherently appealing, just because you're not committed. Now, he has developed a bit more in the outfield, where he's straight up 60s down the line, range, error, and arm. The thing is, though, I'd be more interested in him as an infielder. Problem is, he's just not very good there. So I don't know if he fits what we need. In fact, I don't even know, like, well, what is our biggest need? Where would we look to put somebody in? Right? Like, is he better than Jace Young? Yes. Go look at the ratings. 1-to-1, yes, he's better. But do I want to trade what I'm going to have to trade to get Jazz to upgrade over Jace? Probably not. O'Neal Cruz. Like, I don't know if I want to put him at second or third. And then with Mendoza going off, I don't know if we want to put him in the outfield. Let's just see what he costs. Let's poke around. Can we get anything on to make this work now? Okay, they want Torkelson straight up. That's fair. It's not going to happen, but that's a fair ask initially. Let's kind of work backwards here. Let's start with our two guys that we scooped for nothing. Our waiver claim of Teodo. I've been saying his name differently literally every time I've mentioned it this episode. I cannot settle on something. Oh yeah, and Vasquez is down to a 45. So yeah, they're not going to have any interest in that. What's funny to me is Scott Harris would be like, don't do that. Okay, I mean, we would do that. 2 relievers for Jazz. We would definitely do that. What if we gave them Jace? No. Okay, so they want a ton for Jazz, and that's their right. That's fine, but we're not paying it. That's not going to happen. Tyler O'Neill, he's an outfielder. Christian Arroyo's an infielder, but, like, is he an upgrade? No. Nothing really out there. What about on the pitching side? Oh, Michael King, he's big in the news right now. Getting traded out to San Diego in the Juan Soto deal. Sorry, I was staring at his ratings there. Yeah, big piece of the Juan Soto deal. I'm actually really eager to see what he can do as a full season starter. But that's a major sell high by the Yankees, that he's the headliner in a Soto deal. And I know the big part of it for San Diego is the money, because they got borked by that TV deal. So they're just out 60 mil right now, trying to figure out where that's going to come from. Shouts to Joe Sheehan newsletter. He wrote this up when he talked about the trade. MLB covered them this year, like when the TV contract left. So they didn't have to deal with it immediately this year. But now they don't have that 60 mil. Like, they have to bridge that gap. So dumping Grisham and Soto to the Yankees becomes the answer. It's whatever. I mean, I hope Soto, like, I can't stand the Yankees. But I do like Juan Soto. And so even though I would have to kind of be rooting for a Yankee at that point, I hope he goes and hits like 50 bombs there. I don't think he is, because he doesn't strike me as necessarily like a 50 bomb guy. But I do think he might not change his swing, but play to his park a bit more and start pulling the ball more consistently, right? Like, he's been an all fields guy. I don't think right field in San Diego is all that favorable. But now that he has a favorable right field, I wonder if Soto's going to start ripping bombs at home 81 games a year. We'll see. But unfortunately, I have to cheer for a Yankee now because I like Soto a lot. Anyway, Trade block offers nothing. Let's get back into our games here. We'll play out a couple weeks, and then we'll wrap this one up. Just kind of a check-in episode, a little bit into the 2026 season. So we got a trip to Baltimore and KC coming up over the next week. Baltimore is 29-24. That puts them third in their division. And then KC, as we know, are 29-24. 2.5 games behind us. So let's see what happens after we play Baltimore here. Go to my handy dandy email. And we're going to face Alcantara, Framber Valdez, and Jose Suarez. Okay. Let's see how that goes. Now, the email is out of date because it said Reese Olson was going to pitch here. Oh, let's make sure Herder can even go. Okay, he's 100% rested. Sweet. So we'll get to see Herder's first start here. So let's get this first game underway at Baltimore. We lose 6-2. Now Brant Herder. And he loses 6-5 and 10. That's a bummer. Arelva's scout came in, and he lost current eye. He didn't get shit. I was hoping because he was on average scouting accuracy that maybe there were some things to improve. Nah, something went down. Pablo Aliendo, jack shit for him either. At least nothing went down for him. All right, let's see how Herder did. Oh, it wasn't great. 4 2/3, 11 base runners, 4 of them scored. Not a great outing. We got to Valdez, too. That stinks, man. We really got to Framber. Although he's having a rough year. Holy smokes. 5.87 ERA, 157 whip. That is very bad. All right, well, that sucks. And then the 6-2 loss was Ashby getting rocked. Alcantara, they're like, see, we told you should have traded for him. He's had an okay season, but not really better than what we're getting, so we didn't need him. Can we salvage a game here in Baltimore? Can we please? Please. Nope, we get crushed 7-0. Sweet. Fun trip. I'm overstuffed on crab cakes at least. Looks like Enriquez got hurt and went out early. Let's hope that that's not a big deal. It is not. Okay, he's already good to go. But then the bullpen got knocked around a bit, including Uribe. Bummer. That's a bummer. All right, Jose Suarez absolutely blitzing us. Okay, so we got a 4-game set against KC. Did they cut it any closer? Yep, now they're just a half game back. They took advantage of our 4 losses in a row here. It's going to be Scooble against, who is this? Alejandro Melion? Melion? I think I'm pronouncing that right. Again, always correct me if I'm wrong. I want to pronounce names properly, so if I'm off on something, just let me know. 3.88 ERA, 133 whip for him. He's not, like a standout statistically. 50-50, 45 with 50 stam. But he's having a solid start to the year. Beatable, though. 9% strikeout minus walk. Like, let's get off the schneid. We have our ace going against this guy. It's never a must win on June 4th. Never. There just aren't that many stakes at that point in the season. But this is pretty close to it, just in that, we're on a losing streak. We're facing our chief competitor for the year right now. It's basically one of their lower tier starters against our best. You got to win that ball game. Then we have Job against Braxton Garrett, who's been amazing for them. Again, despite some pedestrian ratings. That park certainly helps too, though. 269 BABIP, that really helps. And then Donnell Montas. Oh my God, he's got a 30 movement. 30. 2.0 homers. I swear to God, if we don't hit homers against him, I'm going to rage. And then Davy Garcia, 3.54 ERA, 121 whip. All right, 4-game set. Ashby will face Montas, and Herder will face Garcia, by the way, since I didn't mention our guys. All right, game 1 in KC. We're eating some barbecue tonight after I ate 52 crab cake sandwiches over the 3-day period in Baltimore, and we get a 5-4 dub. There we go. I mean, I am going to gripe a little bit about a win because we didn't get to Melion. He threw 6 scoreless and said, oh yeah, I'm really easy to beat, aren't I, dweeb? But then Garrett Apker got crushed. So that helps. So, I mean, we got the win. I'll shut up and take the win, but it's kind of annoying. Jace Young's been caught 5 times already, mate. Oh, you're 1 for 6? Yeah, stop running. Stop running, brother. Yoink. Yeah, he's not a good base stealer. Don't sack Bunn either. or one for hit. But definitely stop running. My goodness. 1 for 6. How about a hard red light on that shit? All right. Game 2 at KC. More barbecue tonight. Friday night barbecue. Give it to me. Bang. Dub. 9-7 in 10. Lots of offense. Job, Dees, Mazzucato went for them, not whoever it was supposed to be. Was that supposed to be the guy with the 2 homer per 9? Oh, no, that was Braxton Garrett, so he probably just got pushed back. Because he's been pitching great, so I assume he'll pitch in this series. I'd be surprised if he didn't. But Mazzucato gets bumped, or gets pushed up. Actually, that's his first start. Maybe he did take somebody's spot. Let's take a look instead of speculating. It's almost as if we can just go look. Oh, right. Okay, so he's in long relief. So he just filled in for somebody. Braxton Garrett is out of the rotation. Did he get sent out? Where the hell's Braxton Garrett? What the hell, KC? Oh my God, y'all are savage as hell. Look, I understand that it's not going to sustain, okay? 235 ERA, 113 whip with an 11% strikeout minus walk. Something's got to give there, right? You basically either have to maintain a 269 BABIP or better, or the ERA is going to go up. 388 FIP, kind of tells you that. So, like, I understand, not banking on him and saying, oh, we have our ace here. But sending him out? That's just mean. I mean, good. We don't have to face him, but I can't believe they did that. Danel Montas, there's the 30 movement with the 2.0 homer 9. Now, this is the guy I want to face. I swear to God, we better get a bunch of homers. Did we get any in the 9-7 game, by the way? Adames went yard twice. Mendoza hit his 11th. Dude, can I go back to the Mendoza breakout real quick? I might not have given it enough love when we were going player by player. I love what he's doing. This has been awesome. I still worry about this 40 contact, but at least right now it's looking like he can just outrun that because everything else is pretty damn good. Imagine if this was like 50 though. He's got high work ethic. He has good relationships, doesn't he? I'm pretty sure he does. DeMonte, tell me you like. Yeah, he's got an excellent relationship. Give him some contact, man. Teach him. Teach. Hitting coach focus. Contact. Come on. That'd be so sick if Mendoza. Now, that's a big ask to go from 40 to 50. And I was even saying 50, 55. Like, I'm getting greedy as hell here. I'll settle for the 45 that is potential here, and then we'll worry about getting into the 50s. Just give me the extra 5 right now, and then I'll be a greedy Gus later. All right, game 3 at KC. I'm still eating barbecue. I don't care. Just pile me up with the barbecue all 4 days. 2-1 loss. Damn it. That was against the home run guy, y'all. Who didn't see that coming? Like, that's the most OOTP thing ever, right? I get super gassed up and excited for a guy that we're going to absolutely obliterate, and we don't do anything. We get a run. Now, look, I understand how baseball works. I understand how stats work. Just because he has a 2.0 homer 9 and a 30 movement doesn't mean he gives up a homer every time he pitches, blah, 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 blah. Who gives a shit? We get nothing, though, with our offense. We're the ones who get snuffed out. Now, in fairness, this is 3 straight appearances without a homer. And I say appearances because one of them was a relief outing and then 2 starts. But before that, it was 2, 2, 1, 1. So he'd given up 6 homers in 4 outings before that, all of them starts. But no, against one of the top offenses in the league, he really dials in. Awesome. Second in homers in the league, but none against Danel Montas. No. How could you? And don't put in the comments how Kauffman is a spacious park, blibbity, blobbity, bloobity. I know. Okay, we got 3 hits against him, and you heard my stomach growling because I'm late for dinner because I wanted to record before dinner. And even my stomach's mad that we didn't get any freaking homers. That pisses me off. Meanwhile, we also lose, so now we need this last game here to get 3 out of 4. I'll take a split, right? You guys know I'm always down for a 2-2 split in these 4-game sets, but let's get 3 out of 4 if we can here, obviously. Please. Please. More barbecue as I leave, and we win 2-1 and 10. Bang. Oh, wow. 32 game on base streak for O'Neal Cruz just ended. Holy Toledo. That's awesome. Hang on. Let's get into this game. By the way, I have another streak I wanted to show y'all that ended during the May sim. Okay, I'll feed you in a second, stomach. I don't know if y'all can hear that. I don't know if that's being picked up on the mic, but it seems insanely loud. Anyway, Torque goes off. He gets 3 of our 6 hits, including his 22nd home run and his 10th double. He's like, get on my back, boys. Let's go. Brant Herter with 6 innings of 1-run ball. Hey, Davey Garcia was right there. 5 innings of 1-run ball. We just got an unearned run off of Robinson Hernandez. Well, you have 2 last names. That's what you get. Get a first name. Maybe you won't give up a run. All right, player of the game was indeed Torque. Sweet. All right, so we take 3 of 4 in KC. I ate so much barbecue there. Now, I wish I was eating barbecue right now because, as I mentioned, I'm hungry. Overall rating did improve for Sergio Mendoza, but nothing on the screen shows, which, as I've mentioned before, means he could have gotten a bunch of 2-3 point jumps in a bunch of categories because these are by 5s, right? So if this went from 40 to 43, we wouldn't see that, but if a bunch of things went up a little bit to raise him 5 points of overall, that's how you get those. If you've ever wondered, like, how did his overall go up, but nothing changed on the ratings? That's how. And I learned that from my Twitch viewers, not from my brain, because I would always be like, how did that happen? How did that happen? That's so stupid. That doesn't make any sense. And then I think it was GSG in my Twitch chat was like, well, yeah, dum-dum. Those are just by the 5. So a lot of 2-3 point jumps could lead to that. Ivan Melendez, just quick check-in on him since I saw the All-Star voting. I love that he's having an amazing sim. Do I wish this could have happened when I ran an Arizona sim? Yes, because I am a Longhorn myself, and that would have been very cool. But at least I'm seeing a good one. And it doesn't really directly hurt us, right? Like, he's over there in the National League doing his thing. If we meet him in the playoffs, it would be the World Series, and fine. At that point, I'll deal with it. But right now, the Hispanic Titanic can be over there just absolutely dominating, and we can appreciate it from afar. All right, let's get our off day, and then Tampa Bay and Houston will come to visit. Did I hit it? Did I hit the button there? I'm bad at hitting the button. We'll do Tampa Bay, Houston, and then we'll bounce. We're approaching an hour. Try not to make these too long, especially with them coming out more frequently. I don't want, people get on too much of a backlog where it's like, oh my God, I can't keep up with it. And obviously they don't need to be watched the day they come out or anything. But if you start building up too much of a backlog, then you're going to be like, well, now I have 12 unwatched episodes. I'm just not going to watch any of them. And I say that as from experience, where I've had situations like that on different series where if I get too far behind, then I'm like, well, I just don't know if I'm gonna be able to catch up, so I have to park it for a little while. And hey, nothing wrong with putting out content. I love the shows I watch, or the channels I watch that put out tons of content. Sometimes I just need to make more time to watch it too. By the way, the Ornelas report came in. His potential dropped from 120 to 110. So he's a bust. He's a flame out loser, and Cleveland should give him away to us. I mean, it only makes sense. It really only makes sense that we just get him for free. All right, we're coming home. Tampa Bay, 28-32. They're 7.5 back. So they're okay. We don't want to take them too lightly. They've still got a lot of good players. They got a strong offense. It's actually their pitching that kind of stinks. And you know what's particularly impressive, or not impressive, surprising about that? Ow, I smacked the shit out of my elbow there. Is that they kept a lot of their current day pitching. Taj Bradley, Drew Rasmussen, Shane Baz, and Jeffrey Springs. I don't know where this Michael Mercado's from. He's a homegrown guy too. So they got 5 guys that are currently on IRL Tampa Bay, still in 2026. Who would have bet on that they'd have all these guys? But more to the point, 3 of them suck. Rasmussen, Mercado, and Springs have been terrible. So Bradley and Baz are doing all they can to try to keep this team afloat, and it's just not working. Bummer. Well, let's take advantage. We got 3 against Tampa Bay coming to visit us. Game 1. 9-7 loss. Game 2. 2-1 win. And game 3, give it to me. Give me the series, please. 2-1 loss. Yikes. 3 close games. So, good series against them. I mean, the results weren't good, but you know what I mean. Nice, close, tight series. Skubal and Coar got dumpstered in that first game there. Adames and Torque went yard. 2-1 win. Job, strong. Watanabe and Adames go yard. Lewis. So it was 2-1. 3 solo shots. I like that. That's funny. And then the 2-1 loss. Ashby pitched well. Bullpen was excellent. But Rasmussen and company were even better. That's what I get for making fun of Rasmussen. And Royce Lewis went yard again. He's not having the best run out. He's another favorite of mine. I've had great runouts with him. I get him on so many teams. So I didn't even really try to implore about him in the Tigers franchise because I've had him on enough teams that I don't need to just get him all the time. And being the Tigers, I didn't really want to take him off the Twins. Now that he's on the Rays, maybe he's fair game. But he's also, he's good. He's good. But he's not a superstar. I guess he was pretty damn good last year, 4-win season. I'm just looking at the bat, and I'm a little unimpressed, but the speed and defensive profile are pretty nice. But I love Royce Lewis in real life, man. I just hope he can stay healthy. I hope he does not become another Buxton. So far, he has been, right? And I don't say that to be mean to Buxton. It's just his body has not held up for him. Great player, just can't stay healthy. All right, 3 against Houston, and then we're out of here. They've got Zach Eflin, Brandon Belak, and Christian Javier going up against Brant Herter, Ronnie Enriquez, and Tariq Skubal. They have Gavin Stone. And I might have already known this. I can't remember if we saw this before. Was this January 4th of what year? Nope, it was just this past January. The reason this pisses me off is because obviously those of you who've been watching every episode in order know that I put Gavin Stone back on the Dodgers when he was Rule 5 eligible. I was trying to be a good guy and not just rip the talent that, was clearly not meant for the Rule 5. Like the Dodgers would not put out a pitcher that good. And they wouldn't waive him either. Silly. Now, the only reason I'm not totally upset about this is because at least for the bulk of this sim, we'll see how they're doing this year. For the bulk of this sim, Houston has sucked. So, yeah, they haven't made the playoffs in 3 years. They are 29-34 this year, which is second in their division, only a game and a half back, but it's still 5 games under. So, at least it wasn't like present day Houston, a juggernaut getting Gavin Stone. But it's still annoying that they just got him for free. Maybe I should have just taken him in the Rule 5. Maybe, you know what? Maybe I just stopped doing favors for the computer. If they freaking leave somebody way too good available, F it. He's ours. Nah, I can't help it. Sometimes I'm just like, that guy's way too good for the Rule 5. And I got to be honest, I'm not 100% consistent on it, right? Sometimes I'll take the guy. Other times I'll be like, well, let me look and see if I can put him back on their 40. There is no rhyme or reason, like 100%, if this guy's rating is this high, I'm going to put him back on, or if it's this low, But I saw Stone, and I was just like, there's no way the Dodgers would do this. But in the end, they waived him again, and Houston got him. At least he's only in their bullpen. We got him for a weekend set here in Detroit. Game 1 goes to us 2-1. So that's now 3 straight 2-1 games we've played, 2 of which we've won. That was an interesting framing there. Solo shot by Jace Young. Damn it. I'd almost gone the whole episode without calling him Josh. Brant Herter, baby. Yes. So his first start was a little crummy, right? More than a little crummy. It was dog shit. But then the last two have been excellent. That's why you don't judge off of just one start. And by the way, we don't judge off of just 3 starts either. This still has not, quote unquote, worked yet. But if you ever do a move like this and that first start is bad, I know most of y'all know this, but like don't overdo it and be like, okay, I got to put the other guy back in. That didn't work. You got to give him like 7-8 starts before you can really assess anything. So we'll see how that's going. You know, come the All-Star break is when we'll make a judgment on whether or not Herter as a starter has worked. All right, so we get the first game. Is this going to be another 2-1 game? Saturday afternoon against Houston is a 7-4 loss. Okay. Brandon Belak was meh, but he got support because they ripped Coar and Moreon. Remember how I mentioned that Coar, he was doing well, but that it wasn't like a change. You know, I didn't think that he was different or bankable. He's now given up 7 earned in his last 3 2/3, and his ERA has moved from 3.22 to 4.50. It happens that quickly as a reliever. That's also why ERA is difficult to use as a judge for relievers. So let's look at his core skills, and it's an 11% strikeout minus walk, which is not very good. There's a decent chance that next episode he's not on this team anymore. In fact, y'all might see his replacement, Joel Hurtado. 60, 70, 40. Now, why are they waiving him? He's 25. He's pitching brilliantly for them. He has options. Like, what are they doing? Again, I don't want to just abuse the computer, but if they do something stupid like this, they kind of deserve it, right? I don't want to victim blame the computer. But like, why are you keeping Jackson Finley, another 2 last name having son of a gun? Like, get him off the fucking 40. Freddie Tarnock, gone. Like, what are we doing here? Carlos Meza, out of here. This is ridiculous. All right, I'm gonna do one favor for them. I know I just said I should stop doing this. I'm gonna do it one more time because they're a division competitor. I don't want to take full advantage of them and try to up the degree of difficulty. Put Hurtado on the 40. There you go. Put Hurtado back on the team, you absolute morons. Now, if they cut him again, it's beyond my control. I tried to be a good guy again. 5 minutes after saying I should stop doing that. I'm doing it for a division rival even, because there's no way they should be cutting that guy. If they do it again, though, I'm scooping him. So we're going to play this last game against Houston and the off day, and if they put him right back on the waiver wire, we're fucking taking him. I don't know why I had to F-bomb that, but if they're stupid enough to do it, we drop another series. So we lose the homestand. We go 2-4. We lose 4-3 and 10 to the Astros. Skubal was brilliant. Teodo crushed. And Perez seems to have given up some of his runs, but either way, they were both smoked. Damn it, that sucks. Oh, I remembered something that hopefully some of y'all were waiting for me to pay off. I mentioned a big streak. I don't know why this just bounced back in my head, but Torque had a really cool streak earlier. It was an 11-game RBI streak. Now, I don't know what the record is for that, and I didn't bother to look it up, but 11 games in a row with a ribby is pretty cool. So he went 1, 5, 1, 2, 2, 1, 1, 4, 1, 2, 2. And then the streak was broken here. And then he bounced back with another 4, 1 in the next 2 games after that. But an 11-game RBI streak is pretty cool. And a lot of them being multiples. A 5 and a 4 mixed in as well. So that was kind of cool. Anyway, I just wanted to pay that off because I had mentioned it. And then I forgot it. And then I remembered. Sergio Tapia at AA gets Eastern League Player of the Week. That's cool. He's having a good year. I don't really have room for him in AAA right now. He's not some big prospect, so we'll let him continue to just cook at AA. He was very bad there last year, so him dominating there this year, that's fine. He can marinate there for a bit longer. Maybe in July or early August, he can go to AAA. All right, so not a great start to the month. We are 5-8. We checked the waivers. All right, they didn't put him back out there. There's Jackson Finley, by the way, the guy that I cut for them. He's got a stomach virus. He's probably throwing up because he's like, how did I get cut? I thought for sure Hurtado was out of here, dude. I thought I was safe. And now his stomach is just in knots. He said, some asshole came in and just said that I was cut. He didn't even work here. He had a Tigers hat on. That didn't even seem fair. He said I had to leave. Sorry, Jackson Finley. You got to go, bud. All right. I said I would sim the off day as well to see if they cut him. See if they cut Hurtado again. And they did not. Okay. I would have taken him to replace Coar. We can find another reliever. We know finding relievers is not terribly difficult. Let's see if they're using him. Hurtado's now their setup guy. Yeah, it's almost as if you shouldn't have cut him if he automatically goes to your setup. Idiots. Unbelievable. All right, well, let's wrap it up here. Just over an hour. We got a 1.5 game lead now over Minnesota. KC has fallen back a bit. They're 2-8 in their last 10. I helped them as much as I could. They got to do the rest themselves. They sit 3.5 back. So we have the second best record in the National League. Pardon me. Check that. Third best. Blue Jays and Yankees are better than us, and we're tied with the Orioles at 36-29. Over the National League, the Reds are 40-24. Dodgers are 45-21, and the D-backs 42-23. Wow. So both Central teams are third best in their league. A little symmetry there. With one division having the other two best teams. The NL West in the National League's case and the AL East in our case. And then interestingly enough, the other division leader, the NL East and the AL West respectively, are under 500. So there's some interesting mirroring going on in the two leagues. All right, so next episode, we will be advanced. I don't know exactly to where. I'm not going to commit to anything. Or no, actually, it will be in July somewhere because the draft and the trade deadline are there. So if I don't do a separate draft episode, then we'll probably be somewhere around the deadline. And I think we might have to make a move or two to kind of solidify it. I think I want to make a move. We'll see what's available to us. I'm not going to guarantee anything because I'm not going to force a trade if it's not there. But we'll see. We'll see where we're at with things. But I like where the team is at right now. I'll end on the stats page here so you can take a look. 11th in OBP. We fell down 3 spots just within this episode. I think we have our marching orders for what we need to go out and find. Maybe trade some pitching for some on base and just kind of straight up figure that part out. Now, who's in some trouble with a spot? Watanabe, man. I talked about trading him in the offseason, and I said let's peel back on that. Let's see if he can get a rebound year. So far, so bad. I mean, it's not, the rebound isn't there. There's still quality in this profile, which means I think we might be able to get a trade done. We'll see if we can figure it out. The tough part is he has a 60 eye. He should be an on-base guy. And even if you give him a pass for the average, because he's 45 contact, 40 avoid K, it's still only a 7% walk rate. Like if he had a 10% walk rate, but the OBP was kind of low because the average is low, then I would understand and say, okay, if you can get the average up, then we'll see. But he's not even walking the way he should. So I don't know, man. We might need to dangle him and kind of figure something out there. Jace Young only has a 300 OBP. Those are really the only two big drags. Because then you got Jace Young at 331. I can live with that. 335 for Mendoza. That's downright great for somebody with his defensive profile. 345 for Cruz. And then Torque, Green, and Adames are all excellent. So I wonder if, boy, seems crazy to say, but I wonder if even before we do a trade that maybe Watanabe just starts losing some PT. I think first and foremost, that is going to happen. I'm going to get a Relvis in at DH a bit more often, and I'm not going to let Watanabe get those first base reps. Now, he wasn't taking playing time from Torque. They were switching off DH and first base because there is a 10% DH penalty where you're expected to hit 10% worse as a DH. So I was just trying to help him there, but I'm not even going to worry about that right now. So we might have some different moves when I come back. We need to get through the draft, which will be in early July as well. Again, I'll decide when I get to it if I'm going to do a separate episode for that or if I'm just going to do it offline and then review with y'all. I would like to know if you guys like draft episodes or not, because if I know we don't get like a million comments an episode, but if I see a few people that are like, no, I love the draft episodes, then I will be consistent with them. But if not, if there's kind of like give or take on them, then maybe one year I'll do one, the next year I won't, and we'll kind of do an on-off thing. So I'm interested in y'all's thoughts on them. But until next episode, hit that like, hit that subscribe, and I'll talk to you later. Peace.